Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman in our downtown studios in Lansing. And we're going to stay right in town right now. We're going to run just a couple of blocks away over to the Michigan Economic Development Corporation and spend a little time with Josh Hundt, Executive Vice President and Chief Business Development Officer for the MEDC. And Josh, always good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, Chris?
I was going to ask you if there's anything going on, but I know you haven't. This is the first time you've been able to sit down in about 8 months. So,
yeah, there's a lot going on, and the MEDC's working every day, as I know so many other groups are, to support our state during this ongoing pandemic.
Well, and we're all in this pandemic, like it or not, and its behavior is interesting in that it's actually been a boon for some businesses and really surgically devastating for others. And I know that you guys have kind of figured that all out, but let's talk a little bit about your COVID relief efforts.
Absolutely. We have been focused every day since last March to support our businesses, entrepreneurs, and communities in terms of our COVID relief efforts. And that has been specifically focused on our small businesses and micro enterprises throughout the state. A few examples of that have been our grant initiatives that we have done over the last year, including one happening right now, the Michigan Small Business Survival Grant Program, that have combined to put well over $100 million, over $150 million into our Main Streets businesses across the state and supporting over 18,000 businesses with grants and loans that have helped them handle the challenges that they've had, either from partial closures or temporary closures, in an effort that we can do to sustain our Main Street businesses and keep our communities vibrant for the long term.
When you look at it, you've dispersed like $240 million in critically needed relief funds across the state related to the COVID circumstance. Are you getting positive feedback on, it's like in my community, you look for an ROI, right? Well, you look for an ROI also. You're looking at what's the return on what we've done. Has it been pretty positive?
Yeah, it has been positive. And the ROI that we are looking for is really, what can we do about building a resilient and equitable economy for the long term in Michigan? That was something that we set forth in our strategy prior to the pandemic. And I think that those priorities are even more important today than they were over a year ago when we put that strategy in place. We've seen the resiliency of our people and our communities and our small businesses across the state, and the support that we've provided in that $240 million, both for our Main Street businesses, but also for our entrepreneurs and small manufacturers, helps play a role in making sure that we do have that equitable and resilient economy, and that Michigan can lead the way to recovery across the nation, that Michigan is seen as one of the states that's recovering fastest and strongest and most equitable once this pandemic finally comes to an end.
Well, you guys have done an incredible day in and day out, an incredible job, and certainly at this time of need for relief, you've stepped it up. You actually have. Let's talk a little bit about Governor Whitmer's announcement from Tuesday, and maybe the COVID recovery plan to kind of jumpstart the state's economy.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been focused, as I said, every day on our recovery or relief programs, and now we're beginning to work towards what can we do to ensure that we have that strong recovery as well. And the governor's plan on Tuesday that she released was an important step in making sure that we grow Michigan's economy and help to end the COVID-19 pandemic here in the state. And the plan is focused on vaccine distribution, economic recovery, and schools. But specifically around support for small business, we're looking at three key aspects of how we can make sure that we take that leadership role in the recovery that I mentioned before. First would be a Michigan Main Street initiative to help stabilize our small businesses by securing grants for restaurants and other place-based businesses across the street to keep our vibrant communities. Next is the Michigan Micro Enterprise Support Initiative to help our smallest businesses with less than 9 employees to make sure that they continue to support these vibrant communities. And finally, our startup and tech ecosystem is important as well. And we have the Michigan Business Accelerator and Resiliency Initiative that's centered around grants and support for our high-tech startups. Seeing all three of those as critically important to the recovery, and the work that we can do at the MEDC in support of the governor is critical to lead the way in that effort.
Well, Josh, I'm not surprised by this, but I am really pleased that you guys are being as strategic as the effect of COVID-19, because there are industries that need it desperately, and there are other industries that really don't. And when you blanket relief, it really doesn't get the total job done. Partner, thank you for all you do over there. I appreciate it. Thanks for spending a little time with us today.
Thank you so much for the time. Have a great day.
Good to have you. Josh Hundt, Executive Vice President and Chief Business Development Officer at the MEDC. I'm Chris Holman, and you're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network.